Sup, ballers? It's come to my attention that some of you don't understand how to properly wear a face mask. And if these newfangled contraptions have you confused in some way, I hope this video will help. You see, the basic principle of these face masks is to cover all three of the holes in the front of your face. You have this giant hole in the front of your face called the mouth, which I'm currently using to speak. You might also use it to eat or perform sexual favors. But you also have these two holes in the bottom of your nose that are your primary entry and exit points for air. Now, for you mouth breathers out there, you might think that just covering the mouth will insulate you and others from contracting COVID-19 because clearly you paid attention in anatomy class. But what we want to be doing is covering all of the holes in the front of your face. There are other holes that are not so important to cover, like the ones on the side of your head that enable you to listen, which you clearly have not been doing enough of if you really need this tutorial video. So I'm glad that we can clear this up for you. There's also less obvious holes in your face, like inside your eyelids, that don't necessarily need to be covered, because as Ebby Calvin LaLouche once said, you can't breathe through your eyelids. There's also those of you who use the face mask as a chin strap like you're trying to get drafted into the NFL. You know what? Don't worry about this video if that's the case. They clearly have no interest in or understanding of COVID, so you'll fit right in. Now, before we put on the face mask, we have to understand the face mask. You see, putting on a face mask upside down or inside out is almost as bad as not wearing a mask at all. And if there's one thing dumber than not wearing a face mask, it's dying because you don't know how to use the face mask. Most of the disposable face masks that you can purchase will have a darker shade of blue on the outside than on the inside, as to indicate the outside of the face mask. If you don't know your colors, please consult a 5-year-old. The better made face mask will have a bendable piece of metal on the inside of the bridge as to clamp to your nose. For those of you who wear glasses that always have them fog up, this is often your culprit. Once you have the bridging figured out, you take these loops or straps or whatever you want to call them and loop them around your ears, making sure to cover all three of the holes and clamping the nose. It is important to note that these face masks are not necessarily one size fits all, so if these are a little bit large on you, just tie a knot at the end of one of those loops and it should be enough to make it into an appropriate size for your face. If the face mask is too small for you, then either you're wearing a child's mask or you're so fat that you should probably just stay at home because you're extremely high risk. And there you go. Now you know how to wear a face mask. You can now go out into the world knowing that you are at least at a reduced capacity for contracting or spreading COVID, even though you should probably stay at home anyway. But what about the people who make a conscious decision not to wear the face mask properly? For some of you, I've heard some really dumb excuses on why you can't cover the nose. One of the most common being that you have allergies. Now, I'm not a medical professional, but let's use our brains for just a second. I know it's gonna hurt. The average diameter of a COVID-19 particle is 125 nanometers, which I realize is French to Americans because you don't understand metric or basic geometry for that matter. But for our purposes, it doesn't even matter. But what does matter is that the average size of a pollen particle is roughly 100 times the size of a COVID particle. Now let's do some basic common sense reasoning. If these masks are made to resist particles much smaller than the ones that give you allergies, then the allergens should not have a chance of being able to bother you with this over your nose. It's kind of like trying to stick your finger in a Fruit Loop. If anything, the allergy should be a good reason why you put the face mask over all your holes. I don't want you coughing and sneezing all around me with no mask on. That's the whole fucking point of wearing these. Remember, being a super spreader does not make you a superhero, it makes you a super asshole. As always, be sure to like, comment, and most importantly, subscribe so you can be notified when I explain how long 6 feet is, because apparently that also has to be fucking explained. My God, you people are so Hey guys, sorry I haven't been putting much on YouTube lately. I have been dealing with the aftermath of COVID basically costing me my job. But I have been doing more streaming on Twitch as of late, and I have put the link in the description if you are interested in seeing me there.